We're continuing this 60 days of mooch docking, dry camping, no hookups. We have 2 weeks left in Minnesota to see more friends and family. And then we're headed west. Well, south? We're headed to South Dakota.
West.
Or south.
Southwest.
Well, Chris is running inside to pay for the RV dump here at the Lake Elmo Park and Reserve. And this is going to be a nice, quick, easy stop for us. It's not far from where we're mooch docking. You know, we just got off 13 days of boondocking, and, you know, we got a little bit of stuff to get rid of. So I do remember a very long water fill here last time. It takes like 45 minutes to fill up 98 gallons of fresh water. It just takes a long time. One thing that's weird about this particular park is they don't allow dogs. You see that stinky look on Louie's face? He knows, he's been here before. And I think that's because it's a nature preserve as well as a campground. I think they don't allow alcohol either. It's kind of an interesting little park here. We've never spent the night, but we do use the dump and fill.
Okay.
Success?
Yeah. So they're doing a whole bunch of construction right now on their park office. And as I'm walking past this construction, I'm like, yeah, it probably would have been smart to call ahead and just confirm that their RV dump was in working order, right?
Yeah.
Since we literally drove to the end of our route, and if this wasn't open, man, we'd be doing some major, I don't know where we'd drive to, but we'd be doing some major backtracking.
I just assume since it's an RV park that it's always open, but you're right, there are instances, especially in like gas stations and Cabela's and, you know, things like that where the dumps, for some reason, they go out of order quite a bit.
It's $15. We got our pass to go dump.
We're gonna get our money's worth.
We're gonna get our money's worth.
Drinking water's down here. And the dump is way over here. All right, stop right there. Here's a shot of our trash that we've kind of accumulated over a week. Like I said, Chris made one stop to Walmart and got rid of half of our trash, but we've shared these dry bags before, and these are clutch. You have to have a dry bag while boondocking for numerous reasons. We learned it in the van and we still use it today.
Yeah, it's really clutch if you are in a motorhome and you don't have a tow vehicle, like a truck, to put your trash in. Like in the van, we literally had our trash sitting in the front seat on the floor, and that gets really stinky. It's disgusting. So anyway, we caught whiff of that smell and we're like, God, is that a dead mouse somewhere? Do we have another one? But we're concluding that it's some garbage that we have. So in here, I have some trays that like ground turkey and chicken came on, which I always preach about getting the stinky smell out of your RV before you boondock. Well, here we are. Gosh, so this morning I double bagged this to try to block the smell, but it is this bag.
I can smell it right now.
So the airbag helps tremendously with the smell. I'm catching wafts of smells right now just because it's so hot.
You're also at a dump station, dear?
I'm also at a dump station.
I'm also dumping the tanks right now.
But besides from the smells that are surrounding me everywhere right now, They help with rodents. They help keep mice out of your trash, bugs out of your trash. It just is overall cleaner. If something were to leak, it's contained in the dry bag, so all sorts of reasons.
We have an old episode in Sonoyta, Arizona, where we forgot to put a bag of trash. So we didn't put it in the dry bag, I think just because we just got there the first night and we didn't have it taken out.
Yeah.
And we got mice. Mice poop.
The worst sight to see ever.
Yeah, we didn't bag our trash last night, and all it takes is one night for them to smell that food and they come right up into it.
I was lazy and I put the trash bag right here because normally that space is where our trash goes. And since we got our filter, I didn't know what to do. And I just put the trash here, closed the thing, and all it took was one day for little mice to find it.
Guess what's in here? Any guesses?
It's really heavy. While we were at the last RV park, we got a knock on our door, like on day 3 out of 14, and it was the ranger. He was very nice, but what he said was really offensive to me, and it caught me off guard. He said that one of the neighbors next to us noticed that we were walking the dogs in our site, and
in the neighboring sites.
And in the neighboring site.
Empty.
That were not occupied. And they said that we were not picking up after our dogs. And I was just so shocked, I didn't even really respond. I think I should have reacted a lot more offended. But we are so responsible with our dog poop. We've been here 12 hours and we already have like 6 bags of poop. We're out in the boonies. We always pick up after ourselves. And it just blew me away that these neighbors would accuse us of not picking up in an official RV site that we're living in. So
it's presents from 2 Basenjis.
Yes, so dog poop. This is really important to use the bag for as well, not only for smell, but to keep like maggots away. Before we used this with the dog poo-poo, we actually attracted maggots to the dog poop bag, which is super gross. We do like to sort our trash to make it compact and it takes up less space. So recyclables, keep your recyclables in their own bag. Recyclables are super bulky, and since they're typically clean, you don't need to put them in your dry bag. So you want to reserve your dry bag space for dirty trash, kitchen, scrap food, and icky trash that you don't want to leave free in the truck. I also like to separate out paper plates and paper bowls. If you're really preserving water from your fresh tank, you're going to find that washing dishes uses a ton of water. So to minimize that, you do need to use a little bit of paper plates. And if you're throwing those into your trash bag, you're going to have 10 times the amount of trash bags. So separating out your plates and stacking them, you get a nice stack of plates rather than a gazillion bag full of unsorted trash.
Enough trash talk?
Enough trash talk.
Like I said, our freshwater tank is 98 gallons on this 33-foot fifth wheel. So I started with the water first because I'm not kidding you. Chris started a timer. We'll see exactly what it is, but I think it's like 45 minutes. And then of course, I'm dumping the tank first, the black tank. And I don't always flush the black tank, but while I have time, and usually when we're boondocking is when I like to do it because that's when we really, use the tank. It's always good to flush it while we can. I'll do that for a good, 10 minutes or so. Then I'll let the gray tanks completely flush out. And remember, our gray tanks are 53 gallons apiece. Those aren't completely full. So, anyways, close to 100 gallons of gray going down.
So you always got some trash in the inside.
Oh yeah.
I bet you have a lot of trash on your side of the truck.
Always. You wouldn't think it would take that long at the dump station. And someone actually just asked me in a comment how long it takes to dump our tanks. And I had to think about it for a second because it really doesn't take that long to dump. But our black tank is 53 gallons, 5 minutes? And then the gray tank's right behind it, 5 minutes. So it's like 10 minutes to dump your tanks if that's all you're doing. But if you throw in, flushing the black tank, or filling that big water like what we just did, that's where the time really takes a toll.
Yeah, the filling is the big kahuna, right?
Yeah.
Now,
40 minutes.
did you flush the tanks?
I did, because I had time.
Because you were waiting for the water.
I had 40 minutes to do it, so I figured why not? And I like to do it when we're dry camping a lot like this.
Because it gets icky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're close, it's hot out, and we're gonna talk about the power situation when we get all parked and set up. So Minnesota must have got some rain this year, because we completely sunk into this grass, like big time. So we're not excited about this, but we finally found our spot. We got turned around. It's a pretty narrow yard, so there's nowhere for us to do like a big loop around. We kind of got to do a wide turn, and that causes us to make a little bit more tracks than we want to, but so we're kind of tucked into the grove. Normally what our plan was to park out here this year because we have all that solar. And last year we were here early. It was like early June, I believe, and there was much more sun out here. And now it's completely shaded because it's, the middle to end of September. We're still getting a little bit of wattage. It was around 150 watts. Now it looks like 85. Once you start turning on lights and you start turning on, just small little loads, you're going to start to drain your battery. So it's 85 degrees. We're in the shade. That's a good thing.
Well, we can put those little mini fans out, right?
Yeah, we're going to need some fans. We're going to need some airflow. Does anybody remember when we got these fans during the tent days?
I do. I do, and they saved our butts.
They are lifesavers. I love these little fans. We really haven't been using them that much, but we've always just kept them with us. And, our electrical system is so good now that when we have sunshine, we can run the AC. But we got to remember that these fans, man, you turn them on and they just feel great.
They do exactly what they should do, is just move the air around.
Yeah, super inexpensive, charged by USB-C or USB, and they're just like an 8-inch fan with a clip, base, rotate them. Love these little things. Every RVer should have some of these fans.
And I already need a shower.
Oh yeah, it's muggy. It's muggy out. We were trying to avoid the hot summer, and it's September 15th and it's still pretty hot.
But you know what? It's a beautiful spot. We're happy to be here, and that's all that matters. It's going to be a great 2 weeks.
Good morning, and here we are at day 3. So we kind of got a bit of a handle, I guess, on our power situation. We're basically not using any big appliances. So in a lot of our videos, you'll see us run the air conditioner, use the air fryer, the induction oven, the water heater on electric, all that. We use those big loads. But when you're not getting any solar to replenish your batteries, you can't use big loads like that, or you're going to be in trouble quickly. So we got here with about 75% on our batteries. They weren't fully charged. We had a short drive from Wisconsin to Minnesota. The next day we woke up around 55%, so we used around 20. And here we are on day 3 at about 35%. So it's still roughly a 20% battery burn rate for us per day. And that's getting a little bit of solar in. So even with an extremely large system like what we have, we have 4 Battleborn Game Changers. We're in a 24 volt configuration, so it's 540 amp hours, but At 12 volt, that would be 1,080 amp hours. So a huge battery system, which again, you know, we can last a long time. But the bigger your RV is, the more your power draw is. And I mean, if you think about things like the refrigerator, we have a, you know, almost 20 cubic foot 12 volt refrigerator that's, you know, on 24/7. So it's pretty efficient, but it still is using quite a bit of power. We kind of guesstimate around 100 amp hours per day. And then you just have your daily usage, like your lights and your fans. It's summertime, so we're not running the air conditioner, but we're running the fantastic fans throughout the entire night. The lights are all on during the day, and that all takes, you know, power. And if we don't do anything, we're gonna wake up tomorrow and we're gonna be around 15%. And that's not gonna cut it. So unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to not recharge our batteries. You know, option one would be to move our RV, which, you know, there's really nowhere to boondock around the Twin Cities area. So that's not an option. A portable solar panel would definitely help extend it out a little bit longer, but you'd have to have hundreds and hundreds of watts and a big, you know, 100-foot cable. So that could definitely help, but it's not going to completely help. And then, you know, a generator, of course, would be the next option to charge up the batteries. Well, we already ran the big extension cord because I tested it out the other day just to make sure that we could actually reach the house, and we can. So we're going to have to recharge our batteries for just, you know, till they get back up to 100%, and then we're gonna unplug again. We plan to be here for 2 weeks, and if we're running roughly 20% per day, that's 5 days on a big battery bank like this. So roughly once a week or so, maybe twice a week, we're gonna have to recharge the batteries. We failed. But that's the realities of a large system. Even with 2,750 watts of solar, 4 Battleborn game changers, you still need to have that sunshine to keep it going. You can't really park in the shade and expect your batteries to recharge at a reasonable rate. Even overnight, it runs about 10% of our battery. So with basically nothing on besides the fans and the fridge and the basic parasitic draws, it takes 10%. So that's what it is. So I got my 150 feet roughly of cord, and got to get some adapters in there as well. We're gonna have to go from the 50 amp power cord for our RV down to a 30 and then down again. So over the years, we always keep a bag of different types of adapters. We have about half a dozen of them in here just to make sure we're covered in every single scenario. And it seems like a new scenario pops up every once in a while. And some of these are for our 30 amp RV we had before. But what I really like about these two is this goes onto the side of your 30 amp RV. This one would go onto your 50 amp RV like what we have. And then you can just plug an extension cord. So instead of lugging out your big 50 amp power cord, you can just put this onto the RV and then run, you know, that 100-foot extension cord. But in this scenario, we need to use our 50 amp cord because we're going so far. So from here, what we would do is we would run a 30 female to our 30 male, like so. And so this goes into our 50 amp RV power cord, and then this would go into our extension cord. So we're plugged in, and you can see we're drawing 800 watts from the shore. It's charging the batteries up. And I do have heavy duty extension cords out there. If you look at our Watchdog app, only 7 amps are coming in from the shore power. I have it turned down to 10 amps, and the voltage is high. So with that long of a run, you got to make sure you watch your voltage so that doesn't drop too low.
It's laundry day. You know, I sure don't miss going to the laundromat, but in certain situations, I still need to go, even though we have our combo unit on board. And right now, our limitation is strictly water. Not having water hookups for several weeks puts us in this position where I have mounds of laundry, and I'm just gonna go to the laundromat and knock them out. One thing I really do like is you just put everything in a big mega load, and everything washes in 19 minutes. It's magical. Of course, it takes a long time to dry and fold your clothes. That's what takes the longest. But this is not bad for 3 weeks. And this amount of stuff is exactly why we chose the combo unit, so that we could have that extra space in our closet for dirty laundry. It's been, I don't know, 2-3 weeks. And a lot of this is just bedding and linen. This is 2 sets of bedding and duvet covers and 2 sets of bath towels and kitchen towels. This is just linen and towels, no clothes.
Yeah, if you don't have a way to get rid of your gray water and refresh your fresh water, doing laundry off grid is a very particular situation, and it's not going to be if you're trying to spend 2 weeks off grid. Right. That's super conservation mode.
Yeah.
But if you're talking a long weekend, we
totally doable.
We'd probably have room to do a load or 2 of laundry, if you think of it that way.
And in the past we have done that.
Yeah.
Where we've been out boondocking and we're at the end of our stay and we know we have extra water. We have thrown in, I can do a big load of just socks and underwear, and that helps catch up on a lot. So we have done it, we can do it, but not to this extent of being off grid for this long.
We haven't measured out what that combo unit takes for water. I read around 10 gallons, but per wash load. But again, there's probably some variables. So if you think about that, 10 gallons isn't that bad.
Yeah.
But our gray tank's only 53 gallons for the shower and the washer dryer.
Yeah. When you look at the washer, it doesn't appear to use much during a cycle, but you're just eyeballing it. Who really knows how much is flowing in and out of that drum?
Yeah, it'd be a good test to do one of these days.
Yeah. So I don't particularly enjoy the laundromat, and I really don't like spending the money there. You get used to saving money and doing it in your own RV where it's comfortable and clean, and you don't have other people's pet hair on your clothes when you leave, right? So,
yeah.
It's kind of, and some laundromats are hit or miss. So some of them are very clean and nice, and other ones are kind of horrible. And at least we're in an area where I can pick my neighborhood that I'm going to. That helps a lot.
So this is the first week of a 2-week stay here in Minnesota, and we are excited to see friends, family. It's a busy stay, but right after this is where we're going to really get out back into nature, and we're going to make our first stop, the Badlands Wall, which we haven't been to since 2019.
Yeah, and it was so hot and humid when we went that year.
Or was it 2020?
It was 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
This is one of my favorite tips that I use every day for saving water. Hand washing, dishwashing while not hooked up to water. So I like to keep these parchment paper sheets on board. They're pre-cut and they fit a cutting board or a roasting pan perfectly. So I just do that. So this adds nice protection against my cutting board when I'm handling raw meat, especially poultry. I take one glove and it's non-powdered. I keep a box of these in the drawer, and they are just they're pretty cheap. Make sure they're powder-free, food grade. I like to just do one on my left hand, just like Michael Jackson. And then kitchen shears, which kitchen shears I use all the time. And it's really nice because you can cut without dirtying your cutting board again. So in this case, I'm gonna get some chicken out of the package, some thighs here. All I do is cut this open. We like to do a lot of meat, so particularly boondocking we like to do, or dry camping we like to do on the grill. We use the grill every day no matter where we are, but it really comes in helpful when we're not hooked up so that it keeps the RV cool and we minimize electricity.
And don't have a pan to wash.
And we don't have a pan to wash. So I just put this straight in the trash and then I just handle it like this. And I like to use these boards to trim off any fat if we're gonna do that, season it, and then it's nice and easy to just carry outside. Throw it right on the grill using some tongs, and then you just have this paper, you just throw it right away. You have very little waste and it's paper, very small, very clean, and think of all the water it saves. A ton. Like, you could literally not use any water after doing this, with the exception of the scissors. These are the only thing you need to wash. Pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. Hello everyone, and happy holidays. With 2025 right around the corner, this is the time of year where some of us may be tempted to try to stick to a rigid diet or an overly strenuous workout program. This approach can fuel the yo-yo diet mentality, and it can be really hard to stick to. Not only is it hard mentally, but can actually harm your body composition and drive you a little bit crazy in the process. If you're looking to do something different this year, something that's easy and something that has sustainable, lifelong results, consider joining the PNP community this January for our Progress Not Perfection Challenge. The Progress Not Perfection Group Challenge starts on January 6th and is a sensible approach to getting stronger, improving body composition, simplifying nutrition, and feeling your best physically and mentally. You'll get accountability, a travel-friendly strength training program, cardio and step goals, a habit-based nutrition curriculum, and access to my private Facebook group. Sign up today using the link in the description and using the code IRENE to save $15 on your enrollment. I'll see you there soon.